Alright my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to be doing the FSR versus Nvidia 100% just default freaking settings video today. Now I was going to do it the same way I did last time with me filming like the whole process of like setting it up and going through and doing all the editing. But in order to save some time and try to make this video a little bit shorter because there's other things that I want to do, I decided to go ahead and capture all my footage. All the footage is captured from the Nvidia system using my capture card from the other PC. So that there's the only thing I didn't capture the Nvidia stuff with using the Nvidia capture software. But all the AMD stuff is captured by that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play through the whole process of doing and setting up everything for Nvidia. Then the whole process of setting up and doing everything for AMD, and then we will get to the comparison. So we're going to do one comparison. I recorded continuous footage of the AMD section with FSR 3 at performance mode, and then so we'll start with DLSS 4 on the Nvidia side, and then we'll convert over to the FSR 3, and so that will be that. And you'll be able to see like the selection setting going through on the Nvidia side when we're doing that. I tried to line it up as close as I could, but it is just a little bit off, but obviously you'll be able to see what we're talking about once we get to that section. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and I'm going to talk you guys through it as we're looking at that. So let me go ahead and hit play right now. All right. So basically the sound is, there was no sound. I didn't capture any sound in this video. So I'm going to try to talk you guys through it the best I can. Right now we're getting into control panel so that I can show you guys that it is at full color. And then we're going to come up over here to the other part, and I'm going to show you guys that in the control panel that the digital vibrance is set to default on both screens. That way you can see that there's no anything like that. Everything is just set to the default freaking settings when it comes to that. Next we're going to go into the Nvidia app. We're going to pull that up, drag it down here to the middle. We're going to come in here and we're going to show you guys the global settings. We have RTX and digital vibrance set to off, which is pretty much the default thing. Now we'll come down here to scroll down to Cyberpunk. We'll get in here and we'll look at the settings. Well, it's just showing you like right down here, we're going to see that RTX HDR was on. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off to default right now. We're going to come back up and look at all the rest of the settings just for a second, go into global, and then make sure that those two are off. So we'll get out of that, and then we'll get into Steam. I had to move it across from my other screen over to this one so that we could actually take a look at that. Let's go ahead and drag this over. Sorry guys, it took me a second to get on the ball with this one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open it up, Cyberpunk, running on the 4070 Super. And then we will set up our settings on this one. Try to get them the best we can. So go ahead and hit that play button. Oh, I'm actually thinking about one day capturing, using the Nvidia system, just plugging my capture card into that and like maybe just capturing straight up lossless footage from the other one. When we first got into this, the settings were like really, really low on the resolution side on this one. So I was like, what the freak is going on here? And then we get in here, set it up. Let's get our freaking resolution going. Look how low the resolution was on that one. 768p. Like, who does that? Who would even use that resolution? I mean, is that even a resolution that people still use? Okay, so now we're at 4K. Now we're going to come over here to our DLSS, and we're going to set that over here to what the freak? Yeah, we're going to set that to performance mode. And then I think I left the freaking the sharpening up on this one all the way set to 1. Turn off film grain and chromatic aberration. Come down here, we're going to turn off the screen space reflections. You don't really need that with that on there, so I left it I left it at freaking 1 on the sharpening. I hope I think I did. I think I did on the AMD side too. I think I turned it up to 1 just because I left that one on 1 and I didn't want to have to restart the whole video. So here we are. Let me get the camera into position. And then back up a little bit so that we can see like the crosswalks, the cross guards is what we're looking at, okay? Because of the shimmering or whatever. So the whole reason for making this video, my friends, is the fact that other content creators, instead of utilizing an AMD GPU to do all their testing and stuff for like FSR and all of that stuff, when they've done comparisons in the past, they've showed us the FSR on an Nvidia GPU. And I've always said that, hey man, FSR looks better on an AMD GPU. It just does. Now, as you can see right here with Nvidia, with DLSS, it looks great. Like it looks perfectly fine. I do notice ghosting and stuff when cars drive by it. Like I notice ghosting when the people are walking too. It's not like really pronounced, like you can kind of see it. Like you can definitely see it on the Nvidia side, but if you just watch like the cars and the people and stuff on this, like you can still see it when you're just sitting here. So I mean, obviously it's not 100% perfect, but it is dang good. Like I do appreciate the DLSS 4. The transformer model is absolutely a lot better. If crystal clear image is what you're looking for, like yeah, like I'm not going to sit here and try to deny that. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to switch this on over to FSR. I think I turned that. Yeah, so I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, that was all the way to 1. So then I was like, all right, let's go over to FSR 3 and then let's jump that all the way up to 1 for technically a fairer comparison. We'll apply that and then we'll get back in here. Okay, now if you look at the crosswalks, you can see that dang shimmering all through all four of those. Now they're only be, because it's a side by side, there's only going to be the smaller sections, but you can see the shimmering on every single one of these crosswalks. There's 4 different crosswalks. You can see the shimmering in there, and then obviously you can see the ghosting and stuff when the people are walking. You can see like the trails behind them and stuff like that. Really pronounced for the most part. Like you can see all of these imperfections. And so in my mind, if you're somebody that's watching content trying to figure out, hey, what GPU should I buy? And you have this right here, like the tech reviewers are showing you, like, look how much more shimmering you get with FSR so that's already putting that in your mind that like, oh my gosh, man, the DLSS looks significantly better than what we're getting over here on this card. Like, yeah, why would I want that shimmering when I can get a pristine image quality with DLSS? That's the only thing that I'm taking issue with when it comes to like other content creators creating that or not utilizing an AMD experience to actually show people what an AMD experience is like. Now, as you can see, like that's plain as day. This is in the performance mode, DLSS, or on an Nvidia GPU, you are getting shimmering. But if you look here, somebody brought this to my attention trying to tell me that, oh, look, it's resolving more detail because obviously you can see more lines out here in there. In my opinion, we're switching over here to the AMD side. In my opinion, my honest opinion is when you see the AMD side, they're going to try to tell you and convince you that you're getting less detail on the AMD side, when in fact, everything just looks like it's got significantly higher detail. Now, you got to understand, this is a 4070 Super that we're looking at. So a 4070 Super only has a 12 gigabyte VRAM buffer. On the AMD side, with a 24 gigabyte VRAM buffer, there is no reason on earth for them to need to strip out any detail whatsoever. So if anybody's trying to use that as some kind of a like, oh man, it looks like, no, it's not. There's just thicker, bolder pixels on the AMD experience. So now here we are in the settings. I'm going to make sure the sharpening on that is at 50%. We already got in there, made sure the colors are set to the default 100%. When it comes to that, we're going to make sure that we actually have the I got to drag this over here. We're going to make sure that the 4K display is our main monitor. We'll hit that, and then we're going to come down here, scroll down, make sure there's no HDR enabled on that. just due to the fact that like HDR can kind of mess up the recording. Sometimes it works on AMD and you get like a pretty decent like overall image quality even with it on. Sometimes it just doesn't work, man. It just depends on the game and how the game has implemented. Sometimes it comes out like really washed out and you really can't tell. But for the most part, it usually looks pretty dang good. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Cyberpunk. And we're only testing the one version on this, just the one FSR. Yeah, this one here. This one here has actually got sound because I was using the AMD system. So this one here, I'll have a little bit of sound in here, but I'll definitely like tone that sound down so that we can get an actually pretty decent experience in like the sound quality for this video. Sorry guys, the loading screen and stuff, but I wanted to show you guys everything, you know, and kind of give you my testing methodology on there. On the Nvidia side, we definitely had frame generation. I tried to turn it off on here, but it looks like it re-enabled it for this game so that you guys know that, yeah, AMD's fluid motion frames is on, but that shouldn't affect anything too much. So we're going to set the resolution to 4K. Come on. And then, so now we're at 4K, and then we'll come back over here to graphics, and then we're going to go over here to FSR 3, and then we're going to take that to performance. We're going to leave that sharpness on because that's where we had it on the rest of them. Obviously no in-game frame generation, but I do have AMD's fluid motion frames apps actually enabled. So everything is basically set the same. Screen space reflections are off, just like we had on the other one. So far so good. It looks like I got everything set up the same way, so we're good with that. I was kind of questioning that a minute ago while I was getting in here. So we're going to go ahead and watch the AMD section. Now this is just a continuous recording of that. I needed to get enough footage, but let's go ahead and try to line this up kind of like where we had it on the other one. I think I had to back up just a little bit more because I wanted to try to get all four of those. I think my field of view might be a little bit different on both of these. That's something that I didn't check because I feel like I'm getting, or maybe I wasn't looked up enough or something like that during the other part. But as you can see on an AMD card at performance mode, you do not have shimmering, and the crosswalks actually look more full. There's more fullness to them. On the Nvidia side, you're actually seeing more lines through there, which is, in my opinion, I don't know. I kind of feel like you're getting more pixel detail on the AMD side, no matter what. Like you just are. Obviously, there's no reason for them to cut out detail due to the. I mean, there's plenty of VRAM here to 100% hold all of that. And if I look over here, let me see if I can actually see VRAM usage. No, I can't. It's too small. I made that a little bit too small for this, but. Yeah, I'm not seeing like a degradation of like even like the ghosting behind the walking and stuff is nowhere near as pronounced as it was on the Nvidia side. Like I feel like on an AMD card you're getting a better representation of what FSR actually brings to the table, and with this being not even a full-on implementation of AMD's tech for this game. It still is doing a very good job holding its own in terms of performance level at 4K. This is quite impressive if you ask me. To be completely honest with you, I am actually kind of impressed with the overall what you get from FSR 3 when CD Projekt Red doesn't even care. Like they took Nvidia's money and they were like right off to the races. So I mean, imagine if they actually implemented it to where FSR 3 looks good on other games. If they actually did that, I really do kind of feel like FSR 3 is not as bad as people try to make it out to be. Yes, obviously it's an upscaler. When I'm looking at this on my 4K display, guys, with the FSR 3 on there, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this does not look bad at all. Like it doesn't look bad at all. It looks good. The image quality looks full. But I mean, like, look at this, dude, with these flat colors and stuff. And then when we get over there to the section where we'll be able to look at both of them side by side, I still kind of feel like the AMD side pops just a little bit more than the Nvidia side, and both of them just at like the regular the regular default color stack is quite interesting, to be completely honest with you. I think this looks pretty stable on this overall image quality, guys. That's the thing. Like, I feel like this is stable enough to where while you're playing the game, if 4K is what you got to have, and 4K is what you're shooting for, obviously you're going to be using this on a weaker GPU, like a 7800, 7700 maybe. If you want in 4K, this is probably like maybe close to the setting that you might actually use. I don't even know if you need to go down this low, honestly, on those types of GPUs. So now we are side by side. We got Nvidia on the left, we got AMD on the right, and as you can see, the colors just on the building face alone, there's more of an orange look to that, whereas over here on the Nvidia, and like you've got a nicer white look right there underneath those, the signs. I mean, I don't know, guys. I do feel like AMD has just a little bit more punch, and look how stable this image quality looks side by side. And when you're looking at the freaking the roadway and stuff, they look identical almost. They look identical to me. Like, it doesn't look like you're getting any better. I mean, look at this tree right here. Over on the AMD side, you actually have like that little light ring around it, whereas over here on the Nvidia side, it's completely missing. Like, it's not even there. Like, it's just gone. Like, I can't see it at all. Like, you have that little light ring around the tree that I'm not even seeing over here on the Nvidia side. I guess maybe the VRAM couldn't get it in there. But, you know, you look at the sheen, like, this looks really dang close. Really close, in my opinion. Except for the colors on AMD literally pop. The front of that building pops more. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to change the Nvidia side over here to the FSR3. Obviously, we're going to turn that up. I hope we're going to turn it up. Yeah, we are. Okay, so DLSS. And then we're going to go ahead and switch to 3. And then we'll turn this up all the way. Boom. And then everything else is obviously still the same, so we'll apply that, and then we'll get back into the game. And now, if you look at it, now it's just a shimmering mess on the Nvidia side. It's still got the same freaking muted color palette over there on the building. The shimmering is there. Still don't get the freaking little ring around the tree that's over here, the lights and blinking and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys, man. Like, this here is the kind of thing that I think that PC gaming in general, because there's so much hype and excitement and overhype for the Nvidia products, I think people are being misled. Okay. And I get that there's like that tiny minority in the comment section that likes to freak out on me and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about and all of that stuff. But for the most part, man, even coming back and like doing this stuff exactly to the point and trying to make sure everything is nice and perfect, you can clearly see a difference. AMD versus Nvidia. Nvidia can't do FSR as good as AMD can. Just like AMD clearly can't do DLSS, but we'll see what FSR 4 brings to the table. I mean, somebody's trying to say that like the crosswalk, I would say that the crosswalk looks closer to what it looks like on DLSS than what Nvidia is being able to produce. That's sad that Nvidia can't do a good job at FSR. You would think that it would be better because Nvidia is the best, remember? Well, that's what I get told at all caps all the freaking time. So, yeah, guys, there's that experience, okay? I'm not trying to yank anybody's chain or do anything. I'm just giving you my opinion. And what I see on my screens, on the screens that I have, using both of the machines that I bought with my own money, nobody gave me anything for free, I can see a difference. I can absolutely see a difference. I can see a difference in color. I can see a difference in just overall freaking detail being in the game, not detail not being in the game. It's one of those things where, like, if I was to really sit down and watch that, have 4K on both of them and just literally sit there and hyper focus on that, yeah, dude, every day of the week I could be able to pick something out between these two. So in conclusion of this video, and I want you guys to listen to this, I think that DLSS 4 transformer model is impressive. It does a very good job at providing a crisp, clean image quality, making the ray tracing look better. It's good. I'm not disappointed with it. I'm not. But on the other hand, you have to give AMD's FSR 3.1 its props. Even being handicapped by CDPR, it is still a good enough experience to where, look, you can get more power from an AMD card for the same price that you're paying for an Nvidia card. And if upscaling is your thing, and that's something that you have to use, I think that you're going to have a little bit better experience, you know, with that more power budget that you're going to get, or more VRAM, or whatever you get from the AMD experience versus what you're paying for on the Nvidia experience. Now, don't get me wrong, Nvidia is good. It does its job, and I'm perfectly satisfied with my 4070 Super on a 1440p monitor. And you just saw it at 4K. Like that's incredible. Like, it can do 4K. Like, it's not a terrible GPU by any means, but you're needing to use some form of upscaling. And the fact that DLSS is good enough, and I've always said this, I've always said that if you are 100% set on getting 4K and having 4K, Nvidia usually does a very good job, because DLSS is very good. Like, it does good. Now, that whole story might change with the 9070 XT. 9070 XT using machine learning to upscale could close the gap pretty well. And obviously, you know, if the ray tracing is good enough, that's not bad. I mean, my 9070 or 7900 XT is literally on par ray tracing and path tracing wise with a 4070 Super. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more, maybe, you know, it's pretty much on par with that experience. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.